Welcome back to Synergy Bonus. A bunch of guys like to sit around, drink, and talk about video games. Nothing exotic tonight. We've got a weird little limited edition Budweiser.
We're going to tell you if it pairs with this game in just a moment.
You know, the little king of beers.
It is a Budweiser Copper Lager Jim Beam.
Aged in a Jim Beam barrel is, yeah.
It
smells like a bowling alley.
Tastes like a bowling alley too, like just sadness and feet.
Mostly feet.
Like yeah, there's no Jim Beam.
Or as I just smelled and tasted Budweiser.
There's a kind of a mellow oaky aftertaste.
It's there.
It's
somewhere.
there, but it's a Bud.
It is a Bud.
God damn it, there's a liquor.
There is a liquor. What are we talking about tonight?
Not liquor.
We're talking about stars.
Should I be wearing
and also why it's an infinitely less interesting channel than HBO. Specifically after night.
I can't argue that. Where's the lie?
Yeah.
Where's the lie?
We're talking about
the Resident Evil 2 re-release, remake. Is it a? It's not a reboot.
It's a reimagining.
It is a HD remake. When I think of HD remakes, this is pretty much what I feel. There is a fresh coat of paint on it. They did change the playstyle only to reflect modern Resident Evils. Otherwise, everything's pretty much the same. Puzzle's been kind of remixed a little bit, but nothing is too out there.
Kind of like
we're gonna get into that.
I have a hard time believing that there are little key fobs in 1998
for a 1980s style police cruiser.
Yes, there were.
I'm sure
the most unrealistic thing about this game is the gas price. Actually, those were realistic prices for 1998. Anyways, Resident Evil 2.
I feel old now.
Okay, so this re-release came out on January 25th of 2019.
And
it's Capcom, as always. It's on the Xbox One, PS4, and glorious PC Gaming Master Race.
I
gotta get it on PC. I'd rather just play it on this because I
had to update my graphics card.
You just wanted the mod that lets you replace Mr.X's music, but we'll get to that.
X gonna give it to you. What?
There's also the mod that changes the inventory grid to the color from the original game.
Ah, cool.
That is cool. Anyways, so Resident Evil 2 is probably one of my favorite PS1 games. One of Thrict's favorite PS1 games.
Obviously.
I don't think this one's played a Resident Evil. Yeah? No? Okay.
Watched a lot of it. Never played.
So that means he's the one that dies first. Or he gets to be Brad.
I didn't know you were still alive, Jill.
And the neat part about Resident Evil 2 here is it takes us from the confines of a mansion to a sprawling city to the confines of a police station. As you do. But
I like the mansion idea better because it's like Resident Evil. It resides here. When it's taking over the whole town, it's no longer in residence.
That's because that was the contest name decision that Capcom came to because Capcom of America informed Capcom of Japan, you're going to have a very hard time trademarking Biohazard in the United States.
Biohazard.
That's where we were just talking about shaking the table.
I'm shaking
Elbows
the table.
up, tie.
I am an Italian and I'm just gonna wave my hands and whatever. Anyways, this game got the treatment that Resident Evil 1 got back on the GameCube. And I actually went back and played Resident Evil 2 just compare some things on the PS1 and whatnot. And Resident Evil 2 is lit up like the freaking sun on the PS1. This game is very dark. Very, very dark.
As it should be.
As it should be. There are times where your only light is your flashlight and whatnot. And that just kind of irks me sometimes because I'm like, I want to see what I'm doing. I get it's a horror game and whatnot, but like, just...
So, let's...
It was
walk it back a minute.
We're going to walk it back. I'm just kind of comparing the original to the new one here.
All right, get your...
For the coat of paints, as we're saying. But go ahead.
For someone like me who isn't invested in these games, what is Resident Evil?
Well, they're Pentex from Werewolf. Either arguable, are they more competent or less competent than Pentex? It depends on the day.
Much less.
But basically, the setup with the series is that the Umbrella Corporation, an American-based pharmaceutical company, has also been doing bioorganic weapons research through virology.
As you
virology. And, of course, Murphy's Law is always in effect, and Murphy's Law is always set to maximum perversity, so one of their weapons programs got loose, and now everyone's a zombie.
Yep. Rats.
Rats were the carriers in this one, and, well...
Yeah. So as we said, it's a
Survival horror.
survival horror.
Resource management is very important.
Zombie survival. As we said, it is a remake, and it's lovingly crafted to follow the original. It is third person over the shoulder, which frustrates me, but yet is somehow okay because the very first third person over the shoulder game I played was Resident Evil 4. And somehow it's not as pronounced in this game for whatever reason.
Also, you can shift it around.
I don't know. It works for this, and again,
I was absolutely expecting the fixed camera bullshit.
I do miss the fixed camera.
That was due to limitations in technology at the time.
You couldn't even go upstairs in the original without pressing a button. Like, literally, stairs were there, press a button,
including number 2. Actually, it was in number 3 where they added the ability to finally go upstairs, but that also meant zombies could follow you upstairs now.
Yep. And that has created some game-breaking glitches for this game. Well, I shouldn't say game-breaking.
Amusing and
you're
frustrating.
Still breaking the game. But story-wise, you can pick from 2 characters, Claire or Leon. Claire's coming to town to look for her brother Chris. Leon is coming to report to duty.
Chris from the first game? Or?
Chris from the first game.
Chris Redfield, one of the Raccoon City Police Department STARS teams. He was one of the survivors of Resident Evil 1. Mm-hmm. And he's been missing for the past 6 months, so his little sister is looking for him.
As you do in a horror franchise.
Leon and Claire meet up at a gas station as they get their first encounter that there is a zombie epidemic going on in town.
And this is when the powder gangers attack the town.
It is. It's exactly when the powder gangers attack
also,
the town.
oddly enough, they drive in with no problem besides this one instance at a gas station, despite the fact that the outbreak has been going on for a week, and canonically, the U.S. military has a quarantine on the city, and the entire surrounding area is cordoned off.
You get separated by a rogue semi-truck. I shouldn't say it's really a rogue semi-truck. There is...
More of a cleric.
Jesus, Trav. There's a truck driver who's been infected by a zombie because in this game, he plowed into a
lady on the street while he was messing with his ham radio because, yeah, that's a good idea.
In the original...
that guy, why'd he bite me?
He went to the gas station and got bit by a zombie, so... but regardless, this time he's fully conscious. He just cannot control because he's been bit and he's passing out. And the other one, he's a full-blown zombie who's just a zombie and there's a truck that he just happens to be behind.
I kind of like the idea of the zombie truck driver.
Regardless...
Well, if he didn't die in the ensuing inferno, he would have been a zombie
One thing I'm disappointed in this opening sequence here is in the original, when they take the cop car from the gas station, because Leon comes in his Jeep. Mm-hmm. They have to take a cop car because it's the closest thing.
Because also
there's a zombie in the cop car that appears. That's why they initially crash. This time, they just get to a barrier and then the truck shows up. No zombie in the car.
Well, this time they pull up to the barricades, they stop, and as they're talking about what are we going to do, well, you need to back up. Oh, zombies are all around the car. Back up. Oh, crap. Truck!
Needless to say, they get separated and eventually both make their way to the police station to go into the puzzle-solving aspect of Resident Evil.
Into the world. This is survival horror.
Their paths diverge. It's neat because whoever you start with, when you beat the game, you get scenario B for the other player, so you can see exactly what they were doing while you were doing this. It's neat. It's something that...
in essence, there's 4 playthroughs here.
There's 4 playthroughs. The original did it. This did it. This also has the 4th survivor mode, which is Hunk, and it's got everyone's favorite mode too, Tofu.
And Tofu has been expanded upon. There's a team of Tofu.
Yes, there are 3 different versions of Tofu.
And also, there's another mode called the Ghost Survivors mode.
Which is the Kendo gun shop owner and...
the mayor's daughter, and I do believe there's another one. It might be Ben Bernicoli or whatever the reporter did.
Yeah.
Basically, someone that they made a rendering for, and they figured, hey, why not? Here's a different loadout to try.
Right. But yes, Trev, tofu is literally that. You are a block of tofu with a military brain and a knife. Go.
I'm the man.
He's a man. And every time tofu gets bit, he changes color. I don't know. I haven't unlocked tofu in this one yet, but I'm assuming.
There's the one tofu that does just have the knife.
There's the one that was just armed with grenades, I guess.
I just gotta know, when you unlock Hunk, do you also get the yellow lion?
No. That's because you have to go through the lion puzzle.
I'm going to take a step back here to just kind of bring a memory about, because I never played the original Resident Evil. I played it, obviously. But at the time, when the original Resident Evil 2 came out, my buddy had rented it. He's like, I rented this game, Resident Evil 2, and whatnot. And I'm like, Resident Evil? I'd never heard of it before. So there was a first game, never heard of it. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to this building getting a shotgun. And, 3D games were a thing at the time, but my mind wasn't thinking in 3D. So I pictured this 2D game where this person with a shotgun and like this house, this residency, as he was saying, like this like shack in the woods, and like they're hunting down zombies. Like, this is a 2D game I want. I see Resident Evil 2, I'm like, this was nothing I expected. So the
game you're looking for was on the Famicom and is called Sweet Home.
Is it really?
It's the thing that the original Resident Evil was a love story to.
Is it set in Alabama?
No. Set in Japan, and it's based off a horror movie of the same name, and the original Resident Evil was going to be a remake of it until Capcom lost the rights.
I gotta see. I gotta check
trivia.
this. I gotta check this. That's really cool. Because also in my mind, like, there's this shitty game on the Super Nintendo called Warlock. I also kind of pictured it in that kind of style of animation, which the animation wasn't like terrible for the game, but it wasn't a good game. But Resident Evil. So, storyline wise, they're going through the police station. They're trying to escape town now at this point in time. And
you find out more about the ongoings of the Umbrella Corporation as you continue to try to escape the city. Also, regardless of which character you chose, you're being stalked by some monster. In Leon's game, it's Mr. X. In Claire's game,
it's the mayor.
The
police chief. Sorry.
The mayor is a monster, but no, it is actually the creator of the outbreak.
William Birkin.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't get far enough in Leon's game, does he steal the 8 robot masters and reprogram?
Keep this up, Trev, and I'm going to give it to you.
Much like Mr. X. Mr. X in this functions mostly like Nemesis does in Resident Evil 3, where he just will hunt you until he kills you.
Now, Greg was telling me there was a reason for that earlier.
In the original version of the game for PlayStation, actually, Mr. X's job, because he's a T-1003...
He's a tyrant.
Yeah, he's a tyrant, but T-103 model's Tyrant, which is actually a reference to the Terminator.
Yep.
Their entire naming convention is a reference to Terminator series. His original purpose was to go and retrieve the G-Virus sample because Hunk's team screwed up. However, in this one...
They screwed up so bad, it's ridiculous.
And they still screwed up in this one. But in this one, not only has he got the job of going and retrieving the sample for Umbrella, he's also been tasked with eliminating anyone that is a possible witness to the outbreak or could cause a problem for the Umbrella Corporation. Specifically, the Raccoon City Police Department. Mm-hmm. Because the odds of the cops living. Probably better than everyone else.
And
they were so wrong. They were so wrong.
Raccoon City cop gear.
Mr. X, the very first time you encounter him, is absolutely terrifying. He literally lifts up a helicopter one-handed and is like, I'm gonna fucking kill you! He's coming down there. I loop the hallway and I start walking, because if you walk real slow, he's not gonna hear you. There are a few
He actually zones in on where you are.
There are a few safe zones in the police station, but like, he ended up walking downstairs, whereas I was upstairs, and I just continued upstairs and did my thing.
But Mr. X is a bullet sponge, because first of all, he's a tyrant and totally a knockoff of a Terminator. And second of all, his jacket is completely made out of Kevlar. However, as you can see here, shooting him in the head a couple of times with a .50 caliber pistol will buy you about a 2-minute reprieve before he gets back up and decides to kill you again.
Yeah.
However, shooting off his hat does something interesting.
Yeah. As you can see, I shot off his hat, and from now on, whenever he sees me, he will run.
Well, that's because...
Not away from me.
Too much to hope for.
If I aim the gun at him, he'll stop and think about it.
The boss fights in this game are bigger and just better. I'm going to take that better back. They're still kind of clunky because it is Resident Evil.
Help me, Sherry.
Kill me, Billy!
The control... When you're going along, it's fine. Shooting zombies in a hallway, whatnot, it's fine. When it comes down to you have a highly mobile monster here...
Tank control.
You're kind of slow and like, okay, I gotta turn here, I gotta run here, and just...
On the upside, you still have the quick turn button.
You do have the quick turn button.
Which wasn't actually even in this game.
How do these controls compare to the previous incarnation?
Tank control versus regular first-person control, or third-person control.
You have to be pressing up and in a direction to move that way, and you press back and a direction to back up in that way.
One of the counterpoints on this is you can actually move with your gun out. In the other one, you had to stop, pull out your gun, make your shots, put it away, go.
And also, you can reload while you're moving, which is so
This is so
helpful.
important. Like, it really is important.
Like, I'm not sure if I have footage from the Birkin fight where I'm running away from him trying to frantically reload my shotgun.
Because Birkin is kind of hobbling somewhat fast, but he has reach because he has a giant metal pipe. He is my favorite. Like, just... When the original 2 came out, I had an action figure of Birkin's second form with a giant eye, and I thought it was like an eagle head, but no, it's a full-blown skull, and his other head is melted into him.
There's actually a reason for that in Universe. The G mutation has figured out that Birkin is keeping it back from doing what it wants, so it's removing his control of the body.
So get rid of Birkin, become your own entity.
While Birkin's head is still attached, Birkin's still quasi in control, but G wants to go and propagate with the genetic line.
His daughter.
And Birkin doesn't really want to do that.
Because it's his daughter.
Yeah, and even though he's a omnicidal scientific monster, that's just screwed up.
Yeah, there's some messed up stuff here.
He is neither a incestuous nor a pedophile.
One thing that we were actually talking about before we started filming this was the term bullet sponge. And
Here we go.
Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City was notorious for zombies being bullet sponges. I bought this game, I played it for
an
hour, and I literally took it back. And of course, yeah, we'll give you like $15 for the $60 game you literally bought today. You know, whatever.
Plastic's off, it's immediately lost 3/4 of its value.
Yeah. But I'm not a fan of bullet sponges for whatever, you know, it's just...
It's frustrating.
It is frustrating.
It's artificial difficulty.
This game has some artificial difficulty.
And also,
but they
it's
kind
not
of...
in the spirit of Resident Evil. The whole point is conserving your ammo, not wasting it all on a, mook.
Right. And here's the thing.
Thankfully, Claire's not looking down at the screen and noticing what my ammo count is.
In the original 2, I saw in some forums and stuff, it's like, oh, they take the same amount of hits. They do not. It's far less. And in the original, when a zombie was dead, you could see it was dead because it would pool blood. This game, they can take anywhere from
3 shots to 10.
Yeah. So, like, and everyone, I've seen people complain, well, a 3 headshot should kill them. Well, in a normal game, yes, but this is Resident Evil, and I get it. I get it.
I understand there was a lot of scrabbling to try to justify this, something about shooting through the jaw.
Yeah, basically, from what I can understand and seeing the arguments for, it's like, yeah, you got a headshot. You didn't destroy the brain. Like, you hit the cheekbone, and it tore through and just nicked a little bit of, like, the cortex on the way out. The brain's, for the most part, intact. You didn't really do anything. To a human being, they'd be dead just from the trauma, but a zombie's already dead. You didn't kill it.
So, here's another thing, too.
Like, there's that shot of me shooting a shotgun blast point blank to a zombie and it getting back up.
As you can see here.
Now, another thing is like, I was saying, when a zombie's dead, you can tell there was a blood pool. This, you cannot tell. before he started really playing through it, we were playing through on the Claire file. And he's like, it's got to be dead. And I was going up to his stabbing. Got up and walked around.
I
and
confess to being a clairfile.
They took so much damage before dying.
He broke a knife.
Like, it was ridiculous. Like,
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Knife durability.
that's another part of the artificial difficulty. In the original Resident Evil, if you ran out of ammo, it sucked, but you had a knife. This, if you run out of ammo, you're fucked. Because you have a knife, and it can be used like Resident Evil 4 and 5 as a quick, get the zombie off of me.
Also, the remake of the original.
That's true, yes. No, those were special items.
Yeah, but that's how I kind of
yes.
view these knives
Yes.
is as a defensive weapon.
But the thing is, this is also your actual knife to fight the enemies.
Also, it's used to open up doors sometimes if they're duct taped over.
Yep. Which is only on one...
Yeah,
instance.
but ever since then, I've seen a couple of filing cabinets that have been duct taped
Yeah,
over,
you've
and I
been
just want to like,
hoping-
oh, come on, I don't have a knife.
So what I ended up starting to do to conserve ammo was 1, 2, 3. I blew its leg off. It's crawling around. Okay,
Knife.
if I'm gonna be going through this area a lot, I want these zombies dead. So I take the knife. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it dead? Stab it. Nope. It's back up. 1, 2, 3. That's what I would do. The knife has durability and it will break. And there's multiple knives. So like, there's a real chance that you could run out of ammo, have no knives, and literally be fucked. Like. It's either find ammo or restart the game.
Or find some gunpowder and hope that you can make some bullets.
Like, there is a real chance that you might have to restart the game. I mean...
I had to do that because my original playthrough wasn't going to be Claire because you had done a Claire run. And, yeah, I wasted too much ammo on Birkin as Leon, and I had to restart.
I used a lot of ammo on Birkin. There was a time, that hallway where you said you missed that knife.
Yep. I restarted because I missed that knife.
That hallway gave me so much issues because I only had 9 shots left over. And no knife and whatnot. So what I ended up doing, it took me 3 different loads, but like I managed to grab the knife, get the door open, and skirt through everyone there. And then I got more ammo, and then when I had to return there, I'm like, just fuck all you people. Grenade, done.
Most of the actual strategies I've seen online actually do argue rather than going for headshots, because even with a headshot, it can take up to 9 headshots to kill a zombie. Again, going by whichever weird logic of you didn't destroy the brainstem. Yeah, you took out the top part of his skull. Brainstem still connected, motor functions work.
And the
Not going there, but as a result, 3 to 4...
Give me another one.
3 to 4 shots to a kneecap will take them out, and if it's in a hallway you're not going to go through again, you've eliminated the zombie's mobility.
Leave it crawling.
And also, when they don't have 2 legs to walk on, they magically lose the ability to open doors.
Yep, they do.
Which is one of the big changes we skipped over. Zombies can open doors now.
Yep. Real quick with the zombies crawling, they can still grab you and bite you. And unlike the original 1, 2, and 3 and the remakes, you can't smash their heads.
You can't smash them off, and also you can't go and sometimes slap the button to get them defensively off.
Actually, yes, you can. I've gotten where they went to bite me and I just shoved them off.
I have yet to, but then again, there's something you've done that I have yet to do. I've been yet to kill a licker with a knife by sneaking up on it.
I'm going to tell you about this. So,
My knife broke after about 5 swings, and I pulled out the magnum and said, "Screw you!"
that's unfortunate because it takes 6 swings to kill a licker. Lickers are blind.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Claire?
Claire pop.
1. 1 and they're done.
1 continuous lick.
But anyways, so here's a little tip. Yes, that's the tip.
Just the tip, though.
Just the tip. Lickers are blind. They
And
operate
also,
on
their
sound.
head is mainly their brain.
We prefer visually challenged.
And because this is made when it is, the analog and everything, you can walk really fucking slow. And on scenario
on
B,
the PC.
on scenario B, I literally walked through a hallway with a licker there. Like, I have no ammo. I'm not going to do it, but I managed to get through without getting hurt by the licker. But if they're on the ground, I just skirt behind them, take out the knife, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, dead. Once you start with the stabbing on them, it gets into a like a logic loop where like they get stunned for a second. You stun lock them
Because they can't hear you, so they don't know where you are.
so you're behind them, just fucking them up.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with the PC is with a
No
controller,
analog.
you don't
On
have
the
the
keyboard.
analog, so you press the key down enough for it to register, it's going to have you move forward. If I want to move quietly, I actually have to draw my gun, aim, and walk, so I'm doing that pace, which still
Wow.
makes enough noise
For Mr. X to know where you are.
for Mr. X to know where you are, and Lickers to go,
Wow!
so that's why I said, I got 5 swings on a Licker, said, screw this, bam!
And I am under the mentality of Resident Evil. I'm saving all my big guns for boss fights and whatnot.
As you do.
Yeah, but it's so satisfying
It
once
is.
again to shoot him in the face 3 times.
is.
But
But,
it took
like-
me 4 shots
Like
to
the
do it.
Magnum still does what a Magnum does. It blows off zombies' heads relatively quickly. I saw that. And I felt bad because when we were doing the Claire playthrough before he could really play the game,
Before I could upgrade my graphics
we
card.
came back up into the main area of the police station, and Marvin was there. And Marvin plays a big role in this compared to
expanded him.
they expanded him. So he's more of a, hey, whatever. You know.
We have to get you to a hospital. Go! I'm dead already.
Yeah, it's more than that.
I was gonna retire in 2 days.
Yeah, I don't think he said that. But I took, and the thing is, the zombies, like the dead zombies, just stay on the ground there. They don't despawn. So, like, literally, I took the Magnum because it was the only weapon I had at the time. Point blank on Marvin, split his head open. He falls on the ground. I'm like, oh, Marvin.
I just committed a
mess.
hate crime.
We're getting kind of long-winded here, but
So we've talked about the controls, we've talked about the graphics. How does the music hold up?
Well,
it's hard to say for me because if you pre-ordered the game or got the
got the
deluxe
deluxe
edition,
edition.
or actually I think just the deluxe edition, or bought the DLC, you could put the original soundtrack in. When the original soundtrack's great. I love the
Oh,
original soundtrack. This has remixes of certain tracks and whatnot.
Save
The
room.
game is so quiet, I don't remember any of the music.
I've learned the music, but normally when I play a game, I've got a podcast playing in the background or listening to YouTube, something just to disengage my mind. With this game, I actually have to have that turned off because dunk, 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 dunk. Oh shit!
X gonna give it to you. What? Gonna give it to you.
Oh crap! Mr. X's theme just started. Run, 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 run. Oh crap! He was up behind the door I was about to run into, and running the other way.
Running badge!
The music is good. It's remixes of the original. They've added a couple of new tracks just because they've also added a couple of new zones, like
The Orphanage.
The Orphanage.
And they kind of expanded the sewers a little bit.
yeah, they expanded the sewers, the parking garage, like there wasn't a rifle range, but it's also
Yeah.
just ambience music.
What's neat is like when you go into the bonus menu and like you're looking at your unlockables that you've gotten, like such as the models and whatnot, it plays the save room music. I think that's so cool. Like it's just a remix version of that.
Nice.
It controls really well. Like I said, graphically it's a great game. What else do we touch on?
It stayed true to the.
They stayed true to its roots. Like they did not. They gave it a fresh coat of paint. They changed a little bit. They added to it, but not enough to make it just feel like a whole nother game.
And most importantly, so far, based off just the looks at everything, what they've put in there for some teasers, it looks like the poster of Brad.
We might see Super Zombie Brad. We also might see a Resident Evil
Nemesis,
3.
Which that is my favorite.
Given how well this is selling, I suspect that that's probably...
This is what
A
the
very
Resident
likely-
Evil fan base have been wanting for years, and instead
No,
we've
no,
been.
no. This is what every fan base of every game wants. Take our old classic games, put a fresh coat of paint on it. Don't change it!
Like the only real changes
the
they did
changes
with this
were good.
was the controls. They went from the tank to the new, but that's because 4, 5, and on were that way, so it only made sense.
Clean up the controls.
They
maybe make the music a
incorporated
little more
aspects from
orchestrated
3.
or something. Don't change the story.
What's that?
They incorporated aspects from 3 with the bullet crafting. The customizations have been changed to individual parts.
Quality of life upgrades. They didn't change the story. They didn't change the characters.
They dealt with a couple of retcons for some stuff that it was like
But
we
nothing-
can tell that was written in the 90s.
But nothing like that drank, like, why did they change this? There was no, I had none of that in there. Mm-hmm. The only gripe I had was bullet sponges. And then I circumvented that with kneecap, stab.
Whereas, counterpoint, I'm sitting there going and looking at it, accuracies going like, you do realize, Japan, that in the United States, we don't create mascot animals for our cities. So
I wish we did.
There should not be Mr. Raccoon statues all over this city, because if we named a city Raccoon City, we are really stupid.
Yes,
but then again, we live near Buffalo.
Mr. Buffalo.
Shoot the buffalo statues. Oh, God.
You get arrested for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Mr. Raccoon statues, you mentioned earlier that there was some unlockables that really weren't worth it.
No, there are some that are very much worth it. Specifically, there's little Mr. Raccoon statues, which
will give you your unbreakable combat knife if you manage to hit all of them. That's going through
all 3 plays. There's some that
are...
are...
on your 4th playthrough, you get an unbreakable knife.
Yep. There's some that are limited to Leon-only areas. There are some that are limited to Claire-only areas. There's some that are limited to
Scenario.
Ada
That's
areas.
Right. Ada's pretty neat with her hacking and whatever stuff.
Yeah. Ada and all of her spy toys. And, oh shit, there's Mr.X run, Asian woman run.
Gonna give it to you.
Ooh.
Oh, that got dark.
A little bit.
But, let's see. Other gripes. In the original game, all of the...
Oh, he was talking real before we get to gripes. The other unlockables are...
Infinite ammo, Samurai Edge pistol.
Yep.
Infinite ammo, submachine gun.
Yep. And actually, like...
And the rocket
to
launcher.
get the unlimited ammo Samurai Edge, you have to beat a Scenario A in under 3 hours. My first playthrough, I was at 7 hours.
Mine was
just not
5.
knowing anything. But again, you knew where a lot of the stuff was because we did it together.
But most of it was me running in pants shitting terror from Mr. X, and also going, shit, I don't have a knife, I don't have a knife, I don't have a knife.
So I think I can get that. But you were saying that the Samurai Edge does less damage statistically than Matilda or Claire's starting weapon. But however, you can use the unlimited ammo Samurai Edge on hardcore mode, which we haven't even touched on hardcore mode.
That's one of the things
to help with your rank. Hardcore mode.
I told you this was going to be a long video.
Yes. Hardcore mode basically takes it back to the save system. In normal mode,
ink ribbon.
You can save as much as you want. Hardcore mode, you need an ink ribbon to save. Also, the moment you step foot into that police station, Mr. X is on your ass. You don't wait for him in the helicopter. He will just come to fuck you up.
Also, differences in hardcore mode. Enemies do double damage.
Yeah, I would see that. Like a liquor
There's
would just
less
kill you.
ammo.
So, hardcore mode is sounding more like an actual Resident Evil game to me.
Yes.
Resident Evil cranked.
Basically, a zombie bite, if you're lucky, in normal mode, it might not take you to caution. You'll still
Actually,
be fine.
it would take you to yellow caution, not orange
I've
caution.
had some attacks hit me where I was just still in the lesser green of fine. But no, a zombie bite, it's going to put you in orange caution.
Yep.
And that's going to leave you open to anyone doing a one-shot kill.
So yeah, about 2 hits is all you get. Whereas now you get at least 3 to 4.
And Mr. X, if he connects... well, it was a nice run.
Yeah.
But...
you had a gripe. My gripe was pretty much just bullet spongeness.
Bullet spongeness, yes. The whole idea of the knife breaking, because it's supposed to be a combat knife, and it's actually based off the military's... Oh god, I should know the number. I have it at home. But based off a standard issue combat
It's getting
knife,
too dull to work through constant use, but breaking?
it snaps at the base. Actually, you hear a chink.
And like, if you, like I said, we can use it to get a zombie off of you. Mm-hmm. If you take the knife and stab it into the zombie's chest, half...
No, not half.
A quarter? A good chunk of the
variable depending on the zombie's health, because I have pulled one out that was at full health, and it's at like 75% after I put 4 rounds in the zombie's
The nice
head.
part is there's other sub-weapons that you can use, like flashbangs or grenades.
However...
like, it's so satisfying to put a grenade into a zombie's mouth and then just go pop.
However, the flashbangs, unlike in the remake of the original Resident Evil, and this is a gripe, in the original Resident Evil, if you shoved a flashbang in a zombie's mouth and then shot it, his head was gone. Because logic. And this one, no.
Yeah.
Not so much.
I haven't seen a lot of head-popping action in this one, unfortunately.
There you have.
But I heard that there was Capcom, I don't know where these stats are, like they have a running tally of how many heads have been splattered in this game.
Also, they
which
have
is kind of cool.
on the
Not gonna lie,
website for the
Capcom.
game that's tied into the game itself. There is a 60% number of players that killed themselves on the Phase 2 fight of Birkin.
Phase 2 fight.
The crane!
The crane! Oh my god, that could knock you off! You did too?
You did too?
No, Becky did.
I'm gonna have to go high five her because I was sitting here like, okay, I'm back far enough. Boom!
My problem with the fight was because Phase 2 of the crane, we're getting really long-winded here, and I apologize. I'm going to try to trim this down. If not, enjoy this episode. I really hope you do. With the crane fight, I knew kind of what I had to do. It's like, okay, you're going to smash him off. You got it two times. Well, I did it the first time.
Here comes your encore!
He comes over, and then he gets up. I get the crane going over there again, and then without realizing it, I didn't realize my DPS was so overpowered at this point. I brought him to his knee again. I'm like, the thing's not ready to come back. So, I hit it. It starts coming back. He gets up and just walks away from it, and then boom, it just comes over. I'm like, fuck. So I had to waste more ammo.
On my play, the first one, I thought I was far enough back to not get nailed by the crate. I was wrong.
I stayed right near the controls when I knew that crane
was kiting him at the moment. The second time through, however, I would kite him around until I knew it was all the way at the one end, and then I shot him with an acid grenade. Just because of the continuous damage from it, put him to his knee, ran over, pulled the thing, and then I backed up against the wall saying, "Oh, please,
just stay.
Please, die!"
Alright.
It's a Resident Evil boss. The general response is, "Why won't you die?" And that's what they're thinking.
Well, I'm going to Travs here because he's asking the questions because he's never played it, so he's got some good questions to ask. So, what else you got for us?
That's kind of where I'm at.
Oh yeah, the gripes.
The gripes. Well, we've already kind of talked about the gripes.
Got any more gripes? I mean,
accuracy stuff, but that's generally just me.
Just Resident Evil. I mean,
Yeah, it's like, okay, we went from the 1990s Crown Vic car that was standard issue by 1998 in almost every department, even in the Rust Belt.
Targeting.
And then we switched to the old 1980s. Yes, that is the model. That's the one that I can't remember.
But you know what? Gas prices $1.08 for freaking regular gas.
I just filled up today on the res and it was $1.98.
I gotta go to the res.
Jeez.
But
Alright.
I'm gonna say, well, let's just call it
I
that.
think we're running out of gas. I'm going to try to find these guys some green herb to calm them down. And,
we went long-winded here, but I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you get a chance to play this game.
I hope you enjoyed this video as much as these two are enjoying this.
Because if you've never played a Resident Evil, this is a good place to jump in because it is a great story with either character. And also, you don't need number one, and you don't need any of the other Resident Evils. It's a standalone story. They'll tell you some backstory stuff.
That was one of the things with the original trilogy of Resident Evils, actually quadrilogy.
You didn't need the previous one. So it always said, hey, this happened. And it's like, this happened. I should learn what that is. And I'm gonna go play this game.
Something that we haven't mentioned. We talked about hardcore mode. We talked about normal mode. There's also aim assist mode, which is easy mode, where the game will auto-target for you. And also, you have health regeneration, also known as, I'm just here for the story mode.
But here's the thing. I've seen this mode.
You can't unlock anything on it.
You can't unlock anything in it. But, if you've never played this style of game before, it's a good jump into it. Because all it takes is just, hey, I understand how this works now. Let's crank up the difficulty.
Let's delete the save and let's go and play normal mode.
Yep, it's the only difference is aim assists and it recovers your health, and I'm sure there's probably more damage.
Enemies do less damage.
Enemies do less damage. You probably get more damage done with your gun.
No.
No?
Nope.
No.
Maybe zombies boss fights do less damage. Because I've almost been one-shotted by Birkin numerous times.
He always put me to yellow caution.
Oh, I've had him. I was running and I didn't get out in time for him to do his big wind-up attack, and boom, danger.
Yeah.
Danger, Will Robinson.
But before we end here, there is an unlockable section with the models and stuff like that, and it's really cool because the fight with Birkin, with Leon, I didn't get a good look at him because it's more of, oh shit, there's a giant monster, shoot the eyes, dodge the giant computer or that's coming at me.
Fuel canister, actually.
Fuel can. And then it's like, oh, because you got this achievement when fighting Birkin, you got his model. Apparently, if you stop him from throwing one of the things at you, it unlocked his model. So I got to really look at it. I'm like, this is pure nightmare fuel. Oh my god, I fought that.
Whereas, there we have, I have his model unlocked from his final boss fight in Claire, right here. And that is for the achievement of shooting him off a wall with a minigun when he decides that swan diving your face is a good idea.
Who says wrestling is fake?
Well, it doesn't matter if it's fake when you weigh 2 tons.
Wait, did you just say Birkin did a swanton bomb?
Swan dive.
Oh, I thought you said swanton bomb. I heard wrestling's fake, and I'm like, we were just talking about the Hardy Boys here.
Also, the other reason this video is long, I finally figured out how to record shit on my computer so we have clips.
So it's not just me now, it's this guy.
It just involves him pulling over with his frickin' portable hard drive, and this is a bitch.
Props to Thrict for being a...
I know you're
a team player! Yay!
Shit, I need to leave now. I'm a team player.
Good night!
And good gaming.
And good gaming.
Stars! Biohazard.
Hey, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed what you saw.
Let us know. Give us a like and a comment down below.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to make sure you get all notifications from us.
And as always,
Good night.
and good gaming.